Before you continue watching the video, here's a quick take on it. If you're looking for truly photorealistic images, you can pretty much skip this. There are simply stronger models out there like Flux or Z Image. Hidream O1 can generate photos as well, but in my experience, they often look a bit soft or slightly blurred. However, if you're more into graphic style outputs like cartoons, anime, vector art, or even infographics with text and clean positioning inside the image, then it's definitely worth sticking around. That's where it performs really well. To try out Hidream O1, just head over to ComfyUI and go to Browse Templates. From there, you can either use the search function or go into the image section first and then look for Hidream O1 Dev or the full version. Click it and the whole template will load directly into ComfyUI. If you don't see the template right away, just update ComfyUI to the latest version. On the left side, you'll also see all the required models and exactly which folders they need to go into. Honestly, you can't really mess this up. The main model goes into the checkpoints folder and Gemma goes into the text encoder folder. After that, either refresh the interface on the edit menu or simply restart ComfyUI. Then you just select the models in the corresponding nodes. Sometimes the load image node might throw an error and get highlighted in red. In that case, just load any image into it. Also, make sure to set switch to image edit to false if you're doing text to image. The resolution is set to 2048 by 2048 by default, which is actually one of the big advantages here. Very high resolution output right out of the box. The sampling steps are left at the default settings. And here I quickly created an isometric style infographic about Edgar Allan Poe to show you what it can do. Now let's switch over to the normal model. You already have the Gemma text encoder set up from before. For the model itself, you want to use the FP8 version. That should make it run smoothly even on a 12 GB GPU. Just place the models into the correct folders as usual, nothing complicated here. After restarting ComfyUI or simply refreshing with the edit menu, you can select the models in the corresponding nodes. Everything else works the same as with the dev model. Keep the resolution at 2048 by 2048. By default, the template loads with 40 steps. The documentation actually recommends going up to 50 steps. I also switched the K-sampler to Euler, which runs noticeably faster than the default setting. For testing, I used the exact same prompt as with the dev model, and I'll show you a direct comparison in a moment. Here you can see a direct comparison. The standard model produces noticeably more detail, which isn't really surprising. Personally, I think the dev model is still very usable. What I'd actually recommend is using the dev version first to test and refine your prompt, and then running the final version again with the standard model. Text rendering is generally pretty solid. You might occasionally see small errors, but overall it works quite well. And if you have a clean, consistent background, like in this example, you can easily fix minor issues afterwards in an image editing tool. One thing to keep in mind, the dev model is much faster to render, while the standard model is slower. For a few images, that's totally fine. But if you're generating 50 to 100 outputs, it starts to matter, so it's worth thinking about whether the dev model might already be enough for your use case. Now here are a few more side-by-side comparisons between the dev and the standard model. At the end of the day, it really comes down to personal preference and whether the quality is good enough for your needs. The dev model is simply faster when it comes to generation speed. However, the standard model delivers better detail overall, both in the visuals and in the text rendering. That said, you can still run into small text errors from time to time, but in general, it performs pretty reliably. Now, quick heads up about how you actually write prompts for this model, because this part matters more than people think. First thing, structure and language. Don't just throw in keyword lists like some kind of tag soup. that doesn't work well here. Instead, you want to write in natural, flowing English, like you're giving creative director a proper brief. So not like this. You see a messy keyword dump, infographic, modern flat vector, light gray background, and so on. Basically just a pile of tags. Instead, you want something like this. A clean professional infographic in a modern flat vector style on a light gray background with blah blah blah. You see the rest on the screen, and then you continue describing everything in full sentences like a designer would. Next point, text rendering. Whenever you want text inside the image, you must put it in straight double quotation marks. And you should be very explicit with text styling, stuff like font type, weight, color, and even placement. So instead of hoping the model guesses right, you literally say bold sans serif font, white text, centered at the top, and so on. The more precise you are, the cleaner the output. Last thing, syntax limitations. Don't use weighting tricks like a word 1.3 or double brackets or any of that. It doesn't really work here and can actually make results worse. If something is important, just describe it more clearly in natural language and emphasize it that way. So yeah, if you stick to clean, structured descriptions and avoid keyword chaos, you'll get way better results.